everybody, welcome to Being Kambua. I am so happy that you're here, and in case you're wondering, I am Kambua, okay? If this is your first time on this podcast, karibu sana, make this your home. I hope you've made your cup of chai, because this podcast is not the one that you listen as background noise when you're doing 110 other things. It's the kind that you sit, you soak in, you ponder over, you pause, you know, all of that, because it's a place where we share hope with one another and we offer a lifeline to each other. A lot of our conversations revolve around maternal health, as you know, and from time to time, because majority of my guests are usually women, so we have an overload of estrogen on this podcast, and sometimes I balance it out a little bit so that we can have a little more testosterone and have wholesome conversations here on this podcast. As we begin, I want to say a big thank you to Dusit Princess for giving us this marvelous space that we get to use to have these conversations, and also to say thank you to all my guests who say yes to coming to sit with me, to share their stories, and to thank you for every week faithfully getting onto YouTube, subscribing, listening to the conversations, dropping a comment, sharing the content. Thank you so much. If you have a question or if you'd like to feature on this podcast, please shoot me an email at beingkambua@gmail.com, or you could also slide into my DM at beingkambua, or find me anywhere else at Kambua. I am so happy and so honored to have this gentleman today joining me here on Being Kambua. His name, I know people butcher his name everywhere. So some people call him Pius. Some people call him Payo.
Paya.
Paya. And others call him Pius. And the right way to say it is Pius.
Sure.
Hi, Pius.
Hi, Kambua.
Karibu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for saying yes.
Wow, I'm the one to say thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. It's been a sort of a long time coming from when I started telling you, ntakuita. And the day is finally here.
The appointed time is here.
The appointed time is here. First of all, tell us, who is Pius?
Wow, that's a very difficult question.
Yeah, try.
Pius, first of all, my mom wanted to become a nun. Until she met a very handsome gentleman who swept her off her feet.
Okay.
And she intermittently forgot where she was going.
Alichanganyikiwa.
By the time she discovered, she rediscovered herself. I was baking in her womb.
So it was because of you that the nun.
So when I was born, she remembered that she had always wanted to be a nun. And that dream was gone. And she looked at this young boy and she said, I want to transfer that dream to my son.
Oh, wow.
And not necessarily for him to become a nun, but
a priest or something.
to dedicate him to God.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and out of her own wisdom, I don't know how much influence my dad had in my name, but so far I've not had
it was your
I don't think he was given a chance.
She's like, since I gave up my dream, I am naming. Yeah.
So she decided to name me after one of the popes. Actually, there are two popes in the Catholic Church that were called Pope Pius. And you know, later on I'm very big on the meaning of names. So I was interested to know what is the meaning of my name. And I discovered pleasantly that it means willing servant of God.
Okay, wow.
And I realized why all along in my life, no matter how much I tried to be a bad boy,
you find your way back.
I still found my way back.
So were you a bad boy at some point? Is that what you're telling us?
I think God never allowed me to be really a bad boy.
You tried, but it didn't go too far.
I have never been a bad boy in my life. And I've gone through the same life that many people have gone through. I normally say, between me and my brother, I think I'm the one who had full-blown adolescence, you know. But the meaning of my name is something that has followed me through since then until today. In fact, my mom tells me that I was born in Pumwani, and she labored for over 24 hours. Her waters broke, and I still didn't come out.
Oh, wow.
And she literally was ready to die. She lied on the floor, on her tummy, and she was ready to go.
Oh my!
But and there was no CS. There was no intervention.
So what happens if the baby doesn't come out?
She between her and God, miraculously I came out. And because of how long it took for me to come out, my skin was like an old man.
Oh.
So my skin had to peel off over time for me to for her to discover that she actually birthed a handsome boy. That's how I was ushered into this world.
I'm glad we can laugh
old
about
skin.
Those situations where it's difficult to say, oh, what a cute baby.
What a cute
She's
baby.
like,
hey.
Ni wangu tu ni sawa, ni wangu.
God had to do some miraculous things to see this guy you're seeing seated here today.
I feel like that's such a great entrance into this conversation.
I really identify myself as a son of God. I don't carry myself with the titles of this world. Yes, I'm a CEO, but I normally tell my team, my door is written CEO. And once I exit that door every day, I leave that title behind. My identities are what will never change. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a friend. I'm those things that no one can ever take away from me. From me. And most important, I'm a servant of God.
Amen.
A willing servant of God.
There's one out of the titles and different hats that you wear. There's one I'm going to zoom in on. But before I do, I know there are people watching. You've said I'm a CEO, and there are people watching and saying, he looks so familiar. Tell us, you're a CEO of which company?
So I am very passionate about liberating people from the cycle of poverty. When I was growing up, we were doing very well at some point, up to some point. My dad lost his job, and we plunged into poverty. We couldn't pay school fees. We could, auctioneers were haunting us every other day. We did not know where the next meal will come from. And now this young guy wondering, excuse me, what just happened? How could we have come from here to here? And that question really lingered in my spirit for a very long time. And I was looking for an answer for it without even knowing that I was looking for an answer. So all my choices, career, everything were at the back of my mind, informed by that experience. Because I wanted to explain what exactly happened. How did we move from here to here? And that has become my mission, to help as many people as possible, to ensure that they do not work for money to pay bills, but they experience the full abundance, abundant life that is meant for them. So I like saying my mission is to make as many people as possible to get to a point where they get to do what they love to do every single day of the year. Not minding about where they can make ends meet. Where they can make ends meet. And that means we have to get to a place where money stops being our driver, and our purpose in this life becomes our real driver. That's powerful, because purpose is everything. And that once you discover it, there's no stopping you, and everything else falls in place. Absolutely. So NABO is a platform where that mission converges between what we do at NABO and what my personal mission is. And we are very, very privileged that I even get paid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm very happy to do it for free.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because it's my mission.
Yes.
It's my mission in life.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. You told us how your entrance into the world was, and I want to take you now to how you were introduced into fatherhood. Tell us about that. How was your introduction into fatherhood?
My story is long.
Yeah.
But I say in any room, I'm one of the most fortunate people. I've been married twice. And not because the first one failed.
Yes.
But I've had 2 successful marriages.
Correct.
One current.
Yeah.
And the first time I got married was in 2010. And like any other couple, you know, first of all, we thought we were late. We were in our 30s. And my wife, the late Helima, she was 35. It took 2 years for us to
have children.
No, actually, it took 1 year for us to be pregnant.
Okay.
And it's the first time I'd never had this experience of, oh my goodness, we are pregnant.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It was indescribable.
Yeah.
I really looked forward to, I felt like a dad.
Yeah.
And that dream was so short-lived because within 8 weeks, we lost the baby.
Oh, it was a miscarriage.
It was a miscarriage. And that was how I was ushered into my introduction into fatherhood.
Yeah.
Of this journey that aborted prematurely.
Yeah.
I remember we had gone to see the gyna at Landmark.
Yeah.
Just opposite Nairobi Hospital.
Yes.
My wife was experiencing some bleeding. And the gyna was just taking his time. And, I don't know what's wrong with these gynas. It's like people are just waiting, and you can spend the whole day just waiting for your gyna. Terrible story. And my wife was bleeding, and she was saying it's an emergency, and no one was really attending to her.
Oh, dear.
And I remember when she said she needs to go to the washroom, and I was waiting at the lobby, and she's in the washroom, and she calls me, and she tells me, and while she's crying, our baby has come out. And I felt like my world had just shattered.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we even got anywhere with that gyna.
Yeah.
We left there, crossed the road, went into Nairobi Hospital, and our friend, a very close couple friend, the Wasunas, Eva Wasuna.
Oh, yes.
You know her.
Yes, we know Eva and her husband.
And Dr. Wasuna.
Dr. Wasuna, yeah.
Eva had just delivered a baby on that day. That was July 11, July 15, 2011.
Yeah.
She had just gotten a baby. So we went into the room, and we are so excited for her.
Yeah.
She's seated, and after, just congratulating her and being happy for her, she looked at Helima and she said, and how is your baby? And Helima couldn't respond. She just broke down.
Yeah.
And Eva was seated on the bed, and she just embraced her. And they started tearing. They started crying, sobbing, literally sobbing. Dr. Asuna and I were just watching. I was very heartbroken myself. And Eva burst into prayers. And she began praying. She had experienced pregnancies, at a relatively advanced age. What people say is not safe.
Yes, yeah.
And her pregnancies were very smooth.
Right.
And I remember this word she said, I rub my anointing of carrying children on you. And those were the words that I left that room with.
Yeah.
On July 16th, the following year, we got our firstborn. Exactly 1 year later.
Exactly 1 year.
Exactly 1 year later.
Oh my goodness.
We got our son, Emmanuel.
Wow.
Emmanuel Mushiri.
Yeah, yeah.
God with us.
Wow.
And that was the first time I experienced tangibly, you know, this is my child.
Yes.
And I remember when we were leaving Nairobi Hospital, and I was told go and sign off. We came 2 of us.
Yeah.
And now I was signing off three people.
Oh my goodness. It's
and
surreal.
And this guy had his last name, Mushiri.
Yes.
I was like, I was top of the world.
This is mine.
this is my son.
Wow.
And at the same time, I felt such heavy responsibility to have someone else in this world who carries my name.
Yeah.
So that was my ushering in my first introduction into fatherhood.
Yes.
And every child gives you a different experience.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Did you proceed to have other siblings for Emmanuel?
Absolutely. Let me say this. My first marriage was impeccable. Yeah. Except for one thing.
Okay.
Our biggest challenge, our biggest place of warfare was bearing children.
Okay. Was it difficult?
It was difficult. Between we got 5 children.
Yeah.
So the first one didn't make it.
Yeah.
Then Emmanuel came.
Yes.
And up to the 5th one, we lost 4. We had 4 miscarriages.
Yeah.
We had 4 miscarriages, and we had 5 successful pregnancies.
So 5 miscarriages and 5.
So she was pregnant 9 times.
Yeah.
So I can say I've been a father 9 times.
Yeah. Correct.
I've been a father 9 times.
Yeah.
4 are in heaven, and 5 are here.
Yeah.
And I remember, let me start with Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So when we lost the first one, we were calling him Junior.
Okay.
You give them their names even before you see them.
Yeah.
So we're calling him Junior. So when he lost Junior, we were so shattered.
Yeah.
That, you know, would be in the house, just the 2 of us, and I'd see Helima would be passing each other in the house.
Yes.
She would look at each other in the eyes, and I see she breaks down in tears, and I also break down in tears.
Yeah.
Grief. And I remember I got spiritual anger.
Yeah.
And one day I went to a prayer room. I was like, I'm fed up. I used to call our prayer room Rama.
Yes.
So I went upstairs to Rama. And I started, so Helima also, the way God introduced me to Helima was not the normal way.
Okay, do you want to tell us about that?
I think we can start from there.
Yeah.
I think because then we can be able to connect the dots.
Then we'll come back to
connect the dots.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s. I was late to get married.
Okay.
So one of my friends called me and said, "Hey, Paz, how is your family?" A friend from campus, he's called John Kabiru.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You mean my mom and my dad?" He's like, "No, I mean your wife and children."
Not my mom and dad.
Let's make it clear.
He's like, "Please, what is this?"
So he tells me, "No, I mean your wife and children." I say, "No, I have none of those." He's like, "Paz, you're such a nice guy.
Yeah.
What are you doing single?"
Kwa nini umekataa kuoa?
So he put the phone down, and shortly after he calls me again. He's like, "Paz, you know what? I have a friend.
Okay.
Just meet her.
Okay.
She's a really nice friend."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I don't do blind dates." He's like, "Just meet her." I'm like, "I don't do blind dates." Then he insisted, and I was like, "You know what? I can only then meet her on one condition."
Yeah.
It's not called a blind date.
Yeah.
It's just a friend.
Okay.
Just an introduction to a friend.
Just a meetup.
Just a meetup.
Yeah.
So I remember we met. It was in Westlands.
Yeah.
it was one of those, we met and like it went too well.
Oh.
Nobody expected it to go.
Was it love at first sight?
No, I can't call it love at first sight.
Okay, now that's stretching it.
Yeah, that's stretching it.
Yeah.
But met this lady called Shiro. And we just hit it off.
Okay.
And I remember I dropped her off at her parents' place. And I was coming down Wayaki Way. And I'm like, God, have I overcomplicated this whole story about getting a wife?
Yeah.
Is it me who is the problem? In fact, I don't think I've ever really prayed to you for a wife. But is she the one?
Yeah.
Is she the one? And I left it at that.
Okay.
I went home, forgot about the story. The following day I wake up, it is 5 a.m. in the morning. I wake up to do my devotion. Kambua, I tell you, I sat down. As I was opening my Bible, I just heard in my spirit, she is not the one.
Wow.
That was April 13th, 2009.
Wow.
So the blind date was on April 12th, 2009.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Me, up to that point, I could never have told you I've ever heard the voice of God. But this was so audible. Am I the only one in this house?
Yeah.
Or what is just going on, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, what? And for like the next 2 hours, I was writing and this stuff was not coming from me.
Wow.
And God was showing me how I was going to meet my wife. Every single thing, including how she was going to be released by her parents with blessings.
Okay.
And at the end of it, God was like, call Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick was a very good friend of mine. We used to do prayers together. Hey, when you pray with someone, please be careful who you choose to pray with, because it's such a spiritual
You're
connection.
in agreement with somebody.
Yeah. Like, by the way, tell Patrick about this. I think God knew I would hide it.
Okay.
So I call Patrick and tell him, hey, today God has unleashed on me. I've never had God, but today I can tell you, I've heard straight from heaven. In fact, I have written all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to meet my wife, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. Sawa, that's how Pato talks. Amesema hivyo, sawa. And the first sign that I was going to know who my wife was I was going to ask someone to do something for me, and she was going to do far more than what I had asked for. So later on, Patrick calls me and he's like, by the way, call Helima and tell her that we'll go to her house for tea.
At this point, you knew Helima?
Yes, we were friends.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to be part of a group we used to call 360. So 360 used to be a group that used to meet every last Friday of the month in our house, and would pray and worship the whole night.
Wow.
360 meant 360 degrees.
Yes.
So anything was possible.
Wow.
And we were all young. You never knew who was coming. It was just...
it was open
It was open for everybody. So word would go around, by the way, you know, there's this group, we meet and just pray and worship the whole night.
Yeah.
And then in the morning we have breakfast together. So Helima was part of that group.
Okay.
So first, I don't even understand why Patrick asked me to call. He could have done it himself.
Yes.
But so anyway, I called Helima. I said, by the way, Patrick, Pauline, and myself will come to your house to have a cup of tea. Just prepare a cup of tea.
Okay.
So we went to her house later on, and we were seated in the sitting room, and she was in the kitchen preparing whatever tea she was preparing. Yeah. And at some point, I just thought of checking on her. So I go to
the kitchen. Yeah.
And I find her preparing fish.
Hey.
And the moment, fish is my best meal. Fish ugali.
Halima, uliambiwa chai. At least the standards you set for the rest of us.
So I go. I'm like, oh my God. The Spirit, the Spirit of God is so strong.
Wow.
It just reminded me, do you remember what I told you? You'll ask someone to do something and
they'll do over and above.
Go, yeah, it's like, what? It can't be Elima. For my name, like, it can't be Elima. I went back to me, Helima, in the hierarchy, in the ranking towards God, she was so far up there and I was so far down here that the only person who deserved to marry her was a pastor.
Yeah, like, surely not me, Lord. I'm not worthy.
This guy, wacha.
He be a pastor.
He be a pastor. So I went back to the sitting room, quiet. And anyway, I don't even think I told her, I said anything to her. I was in utter shock. Went back, sat down quietly, wasn't speaking to anyone. When I went back to my house, I went back to my journal. I said, I wrote, God, is this a coincidence? It can't be. Yeah. It can't be true.
Was the fish good?
Yeah? The fish was awesome.
It was very good, okay.
To my taste.
Yeah.
I left it at that. What I didn't know, that was the beginning of God speaking to me in ways that I did not know that God can speak to a man.
Yeah.
Because from there, it was dreams, prophecies.
Yeah. More confirmation.
We may not get into this at this point.
Yeah.
But it took 7 months. It was from April 13 until August 2009.
Yeah.
September 2009. And the last time God spoke to me about her, there were many of them. Let me just give one highlight. Sure. There was one time, so in June, this man of God calls and says there are 2 guys who walked into fellowship last time I was in Kenya. He's called Rev John. And God has given me a message for them. Can you ask them to come for the next fellowship? It's going to be in June. That was like June 8th, 2009.
Yeah.
I literally knew this had something to do with what God had spoken to me. So I was offended.
Oh.
Because it was this conversation between me and God is not supposed to be public.
But now he's letting other people know.
Why is he bringing other parties into this thing? And I'm still in disbelief.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that day came. I went for fellowship.
Yeah.
And midway, he asked me to stand up.
Okay.
And I stood up. There were so many people.
Yeah.
It was just at home, someone's home. And he's like, God is saying to you that the person you have been thinking about is the one. I was like, what? Now I began thinking, what kind of prayers does Helima pray? Literally, God is chasing me.
Yes, and sending people you don't know.
Sending people. Yeah. And it was another. Then there was one time again I was in church and I was told to stand up. And I was told, tonight, God will make it very crystal clear. That was the word. Tonight, God will make it crystal clear to know that He is the one. Yeah. He will visit you. Yeah. Kambua that day. Me, I've never. These experiences of God, I don't even. Are new to me. I went home. I'm telling you, I looked at all the dirishas. I was like, God will come through which window? And I slept. Yeah. And then I woke up at about 5 a.m. in the morning. And nothing had happened. Okay. And I was so happy that nothing happened. I had no visitation. Yeah. Absolutely no visitation. Yeah. Anyway, as I was happy lingering in bed, I slipped into sleep again. But this time, I was semi-conscious. And I just heard in my ear, Helima. And I woke up. I literally jumped off my bed because I couldn't believe. It was confirmation after confirmation. Anyway, September, it seemed God was fed up with me.
Like I have told you so many times.
Told you so many times.
Yeah.
And one morning I woke up and it was like, marrying Helima is a choice between life and death. And I was like, oh my God. Even now, God, you're going to threaten my life because of this daughter of yours.
Yeah.
And that's the day I decided to do something about it. I still remember I said, God, I choose life. I choose life.
Yeah.
If you want me to marry Helima, I choose life. This is what it has come to.
Yeah.
I choose life.
Yeah.
And the moment I said I choose life, I had such a relief.
Yeah.
And then these words just came out of my spirit.
Yeah.
And I said, but God, if you love her that much, I need your help. Please, there is no way, there is no love I have that can be enough to love that kind of a person. So please give me love for her.
Wow.
Give me love that I may love her the
way
way you would want me to love her.
Yes.
Hey, let me tell you, I loved that woman.
Wow.
I thought I used to know love.
Yeah.
That was something. To death.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the last day.
Yeah.
So there was one question that then, and I kept telling Helima, when I get to heaven, I want to ask God one question. Why is it that he really wanted me to marry you and not anybody else? I said, wow. And I knew there must have been a purpose.
Yeah.
But and I began to study the word, the various times where God was very clear on who should marry who.
Yeah.
And there was one common thread amongst all of them, which was the offspring. You know, let me take the crazy story of Judah.
Yeah.
Judah married a woman who was not a Hebrew.
Yeah.
And her sons, they married Tamar, who was a Hebrew. And they died. Yeah. They died.
Yeah.
And as a crazy story it would be, this Tamar ends up pretending to be a prostitute. Judah had lost his wife. Yeah. And Judah, for some crazy reasons, decides to lay with this prostitute. Yeah. And not just that, leave evidence that he is the one.
Yeah.
And out of the two, they got a pure Hebrew breed. And that was the lineage of Christ. Yeah. Same. Yeah. Abraham gets a son with Isaac. But God says no. Yeah. This is Ishmael, fine. Yeah. Now because Ishmael has come from you, I will bless him. Yeah. But the one that I really want to be the son, the son of promise, is the one who comes from you.
From Sarah, you and Sarah.
And Sarah. Yeah. So it was very clear to me over time that it had to do with offspring. And that's how, and so when you look at even the story of Helima, the moment she gave birth to our last born, it's like her assignment was done.
Wow. Tell us about that, Pius.
So we have left the kids somewhere.
We are now coming back to the kids.
Do you want us to go to the kids first, or you go to the Helima first? So
start where you feel will connect us.
Let's connect.
Yes.
So then you can start seeing why there was such warfare for offspring in our marriage. Yeah. Because the real reason why we were brought together
was the offspring.
Correct. So I remember our firstborn, Emmanuel, when it was October 2011, we are in the car. I'm just dropping her off to go into her office, just outside Anniversary Towers. I'm the one who used to pray before she goes to work. And this time around, I tell her, you pray.
Okay.
And the moment she opened her mouth, I was like, oh my God, I smell the scent of a third person in the car. Very male. And I'm like, I'm tempted to open my eyes. I can feel the presence of somebody else in the car. But we are praying, so I can't open my eyes. And the moment she finished praying, I don't know where these words came from, but now I know it's from the Spirit. But I told her, you're pregnant, and you're pregnant with a boy.
Wow. This was after Emmanuel? Before Emmanuel, okay.
Before Emmanuel. It's October 2011. And at that point in time, not even a pregnancy test could prove.
Oh, it was too early.
It was too early. And from that point, I'd be picking her from the office. We are going home. And I look at her and I see her pregnant.
Wow.
And it was vision after vision after vision. Sorry, I forgot to say something. Before we got there. So Halima and I are so broken. We are grieving. And I go to Rama, our prayer room. And I kneel down and I remind God of everything He told me about Halima. Now that's why I went back to the story of Halima. That she's a fruitful vine. And I said, God, you say that she's a fruitful vine. I still remember. I'm kneeling, God, you say that she's a fruitful vine. And my hands are like this. And all of a sudden, I see her. I'm holding her in my hands. She's wearing a white dress like this one. Funny enough. And she's pregnant. And she's looking at me and she's smiling. And I have all the time in this world to look at her.
Wow.
So I never even finished my lamentation.
Wow. Wow.
And then the vision switches to 3 children, 2 on this hand and 1 on this hand. And I'm looking at them, they are all boys. And I'm like, what? It's like I'm seeing our life in the future. And then I just hear the voice of God say, Trinity. And then the vision goes. And I'm completely blown away. And my grief disappears instantly. Lifted instantly. And I come downstairs and I tell Halima, I have seen our children.
Wow.
And the moment I say that, grief lifted her from her instantly.
Wow.
She instantly healed both of us.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't know whether there will be triplets. I don't know whether there will be 3 boys. I don't know whether there will be 3 girls. But I know there are 3 children coming. Trinity.
Oh my goodness.
And we are instantly healed. In fact, the next thing was she got the strength, she wrote a letter, a whole letter to Junior, bought a birthday cake, celebrated, we sealed, and we wrapped that grief. And we moved on.
Wow.
And now we are on to Emmanuel. And God has revealed it to me before we even know she's pregnant. And after a couple of weeks, we confirm she's pregnant. On the 17th week, the following day we were going for prenatal. And we get into bed and we are doing our rituals to pray before sleeping. And I close my eyes and all of a sudden I see this boy, like 8 years, wearing a white jersey, stripes, and someone is holding his hand up, and it's like we're watching football. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I look at her and I'm like, we have a son.
Wow.
We have a son. And she's like, I don't understand how I am carrying the pregnancy.
But you're the one who knows.
But you are the one who is carrying all the revelations.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is an important point. It is assumed that the woman carries the child, but we both carry the child.
Yeah.
I carry the child in the spirit.
Yeah.
The same way you are carrying the child in the physical.
Yeah.
But I am in this story.
Yes, yes.
And you can see how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she never ever got any revelation.
Wow.
It was all the revelations were coming through me.
Yeah.
And anyway, to fast forward, God was like, you really need to pray about this child. There is warfare about this child. So it was one of those pregnancies. The rest, I was more relaxed.
Yes.
But this one, it was warfare from day one.
Right.
And we get to week 41.
41.
41.
She was tired.
She was tired.
Yeah.
And we go to the Java outside Nairobi Hospital just for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And we are done, and we want to go back. We are going back home, and we get to, it's called, that hotel is called Spring.
Oh, yes. Not Spring Valley. I know the one you're saying. It now
Silver
has
Spring.
a different, Silver Spring.
Silver
It now
Spring.
has a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get to Silver Spring, and she screams. And, first time parents, that is.
Yeah.
That is, the baby's coming.
Yeah, panic.
We never got to the roundabout. I did the U-turn there. I entered Nairobi Hospital. We went to maternity ward because it was expected.
Yes.
If the baby goes beyond 41 weeks, we have to admit her and induce the baby.
Yeah.
So we go into maternity. We're like, hey, we seem to be in labor.
Yeah.
The nurses look at her and they laugh. They're like, she's only 2 centimeters dilated. And then
you relax.
No. They say, but you made one mistake. You came to maternity.
Which means we have to deliver.
When you went to maternity, you must live with the baby.
Yeah.
But if we went to ER,
you'd have
gone home and would have come back tomorrow.
Wow.
So they tell me, you know what, it's going to be a long day tomorrow.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
Go home. Get us some nice sleep. Tomorrow is work.
Come ready.
Come ready.
Yeah.
So I go home. I wake up 5 a.m. to do my devotion.
Yeah.
First of all, I shower. I come back from showering and I'm like, there's a missed call from Helima. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
She called back and she's like, the nurses have been monitoring the heartbeat. And the heartbeat of the baby has been going down. So they've called the doctor, and the doctor says we have to go into an emergency C-section by 7.
Yeah.
So you need to be here.
Yeah.
And you know how you pray for natural childbirth, but God is God.
Yeah. So
quickly dash to Nairobi Hospital. I pray for her.
Yeah.
And 7 o'clock she goes into theater.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes later, the baby is out, and I behold.
Oh my goodness! Your
my
son.
Child,
yes.
my son.
Yeah.
For the first time. Sorry. Because of the experience I had with Emmanuel during pregnancy, we agreed we will not name him.
Okay.
But we'll trust God for his name.
Yeah.
So 6 months later into the pregnancy, God spoke to both of us.
Okay.
Say, Emmanuel.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's how he was called Emmanuel.
Yeah.
God with us. So hold him up. I always hold my babies up.
Yes.
And I say, and I bless them, and I say, and your name shall be Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Wow.
That's God's promise to us, that he will always be with us.
Amen.
Then the doctor comes out later and tells me, you know what? This child had a cord around his neck.
Ooh.
If we delayed any further, he would have died in the womb.
Yeah.
Now, do you see the mistake we did yesterday? last night. If we went with her home.
Yes. Oh. So that mistake saved the baby's life.
The mistake was not a mistake.
It was not a mistake.
It was not a mistake.
Yeah.
It was part of the warfare.
God's intervention.
Yeah, it was God's intervention.
Yeah.
And there were all scenarios we could have been in traffic. And I mean, in a matter of seconds, that could have been a different story.
Quickly, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You can see the consistent. Remember, the purpose is offspring.
The offspring, yeah.
So all our children, I can tell you one after the other, were similar stories. Tehillah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful name.
Tehillah, which means spontaneous worship. So the Trinity.
Yeah.
So Emmanuel, a boy.
Yes.
Lemuel followed the following year. 2012, 2013, Lemuel came. And 2016, Shemuel came.
Wow.
Emmanuel, Lemuel, Shemuel.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, God is with us. Lemuel, devoted to God. So that's our promise to God, that we'll be devoted to Him.
Yeah.
And Shemuel, God has heard our prayers.
Wow.
Trinity.
Wow.
So we were like, no, we are done. As guys, we are
Trinity
done.
Is here.
The Trinity finished.
We are happy, yes.
We are happy.
Yeah.
Imeisha.
It is finished.
Our mothers, very sad.
Because they've not been named.
They will not be named.
Yeah.
And there is no sign because now we are in our 40s.
Yeah.
How do you start having children in your 40s? Anyway, God is God.
Yeah.
And offspring mean everything to Him.
Yeah.
Tehillah was not, we did not plan for it.
Yeah.
It was just total surprise.
Surprise, wow.
Total surprise.
Yeah.
And one day, I was at Wadi Degla. I'm working out.
Yeah.
And I get a call from Helima.
Yeah.
And she says, come home now. And I'm like, what? Helima never panicked.
Yeah.
So when those words coming from her,
you're like, this is serious.
This is serious.
Yeah.
I was sprinting.
Yeah.
I got home, entered our bedroom, went to the washroom, and there was blood everywhere. And she's looking at me and she's like, our baby. And the moment she said, our baby, she pointing me to the blood, I said, this is not our baby. This is blood. And quickly got her into the car, rush, and now we are praying in the Spirit.
Yeah.
We are praying in the Spirit, and we are calling forth this baby, and the scriptures that we are anchoring on. Talitha Kumi.
Yes.
Young girl, arise.
Arise.
Yeah.
Arise.
Talitha Kumi. And we go and we get to do the scan, and as we are doing the scan, once you explain to the people what, and they see what is going on, all the blood, they know.
Yeah, they're like,
they know this one.
We know how this ends.
You know how this ends.
Yeah.
And this lady is doing the ultrasound, and all of a sudden, her face brightens in disbelief, like, we have a heartbeat.
Oh my God.
We have a heartbeat. In total disbelief.
Oh my goodness.
She was given a few medications. We went. She was admitted.
Yeah.
And as I was going home, I remember I got to Cedar Mall, and I stopped there.
Yeah.
And I was in my car just about to leave, and God said, today you witness resurrection.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
You witness resurrection.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. This girl was gone. Wow. Warfare.
Yeah.
After 4 miscarriages, you kind of know how it goes.
Yeah.
So
you know the signs.
So this was like the worst. All the others, they were not even this level. This one was like everywhere. Just,
oh my goodness. And this is the one where there was a turnaround.
And there's a turnaround.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's powerful.
Tehillah.
Yeah,
It's born, and like we are now in exceedingly abundantly above all. We were happy with 3 boys. We were happy to be called Baba boys, Mama boys.
Yeah.
But this one he did not see coming.
Girl.
So like we are in exceedingly abundantly above all.
Yes.
And we are in spontaneous worship.
Oh my goodness.
And she is called Tehillah.
Tehillah.
Tehillah. Yeah, and the story does not end there.
Let's continue.
So Tehillah is born 2019, September.
Yeah.
And I thought we were okay.
Yeah.
I thought Helima was happy.
Yeah.
But I did not foresee how this girl was going to make her happy.
Oh, Tehillah brought extra joy.
Extra joy. Yeah, it was everyday pictures, Nini, the dressing the same, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I was the official cameraman of these 2, senior and junior.
Yeah. Yes. Oh.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yani, that house, it was brightened.
Wow.
That was amazing. And 2022.
Yeah.
2021.
Yes.
Towards the end.
Yes.
Come home from work.
Yeah.
It's at night. She's in bed.
Yeah.
And I get to, and I see a card on my pillow.
Yes.
And she's smiling at me.
Yeah.
And she's like, open the card. And I open the card. And the card says, congratulations for being a father the 5th time.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, you're joking. You are joking.
Kuna jokes
wewe. Kuna jokes. Hey? So, and this is the reason why I say I was in disbelief. Because that year, she kept saying she has premenopausal signs.
Yeah.
So there is no,
the chances are like
so she
slim.
was 46.
Yeah.
She was 46 years. So in fact, the conversations with the guy were around premenopausal.
Right.
Yeah, those were premenopausal conversations. So the idea of having a child.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, I cannot believe it.
Wow.
But we agreed.
Yeah.
We received this baby.
Yeah.
With joy. And we will speak positively about it.
Yes.
And we are rejoicing in it.
Yes.
So now I start saying, God, this one you've taken us beyond exceedingly abundantly above all.
Yes.
Now we are beyond. Now we do not know what to call this. This blessing. 5 children, Kambua.
Well done, Pius. Well
5 children. How?
Yeah.
In this city of Nairobi. 5. So now we started joking. You know, when you have 5 children, you cannot go out there and tell some other funny person, you know, my marriage is not working, so I'm looking for a way out.
And your 5 children.
And your 5 children, like, we are stuck together. We are stuck
you have
together.
To make it
work. We are stuck together. As guys, we have no excuse. This marriage is working very well. There is clear evidence.
Yeah,
this is fruitful. So anyway, it was a ridiculous joke that came to play on me later on because no one was supposed to be left with 5 children.
Oh, I'm glad you can laugh about that now.
So anyway, we are like, okay, fine. So let's go through the steps. As usual, prenatal, I was very, very present throughout the process. The first trimester, man, it almost killed her. She literally was 48 kgs. She couldn't eat anything. It was tough. It was tough. Even she had to be put on IV. It was bad. Then second trimester. And I remember going to the gyna at Insurance Plaza. And you're told to fill your bladder with water. And then after you're done, you need to dash to the washroom. So she dashed to the washroom, and I'm left with the gyna. And the gyna looks at me. He can see our age. These guys, man, they are really pushing boundaries.
What are they doing?
So he looks at me and is like, you know what? This child will be your retirement package. This child will drive you during your old age. This child will take you places in your old age. He addressed me when she was outside. But I didn't realize how profound that was. One was on their way out. Anyway, she's 37 weeks. It is June 2022. 11th. And we take the kids to bed. And we were like, oh man, we've not watched a movie for a long time. Can we even try to figure out? First of all, finding a movie that is godly, it is work. We find a movie, and guess what? We just slept. We didn't even watch the movie. We fell asleep on the couch. And 3 a.m. I was like, we slept on the couch. So I woke up. And it was her birthday.
Oh, June 12th?
June 12th.
Oh, it's my brother's birthday.
It's your brother's birthday. It's a very special day. You'll see in
the story. Indeed,
So we go upstairs, the usual things you do before you get to bed. She's so heavy. She's 1 week. She had 1 week to
deliver
elective CS because all her kids were CS. And we have gifts, I had birthday gifts for her, but they were not wrapped. So I look at her, I'm like, let me pray for you on your birthday. So I prayed for her while you're in bed, prayed for her. And she was happy, she smiled. And as she's settling in bed, she tried to turn. She was facing me, so she tried to turn and face the other side. And as she was trying to face the other side, you've got to move.
It's really hard.
It's really hard. She says, ouch! And she's holding the lower part of her belly or abdomen. And I tried to massage it, and she's like, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. And it's the first time, I thought it was a muscle pull. It was the first time she said, don't touch. And I'm like, what's going on? So I move from my side of the bed, I go to her side of the bed. And the moment I get to her side of the bed, she goes completely lucid. And I'm like, what? So I smack her. Hey, don't leave me, wake up. And she wakes up. And I'm like, are you okay? Again.
She goes out again.
Again, I smack her, I wake up. No, hey. So now, I'm like, we need to get to the car. This thing is serious. She's coming in and out. Anyway, it was crazy. Call the house helps, and they helped me to carry her to the car. And as we are, so now I'm speaking the word. I'm like, God, I'm praying, you shall live and not die. And I'm telling her, please repeat after me, you shall live and not die. You shall live and not. We get into the car, and I'm telling her, make sure you repeat this after me. Let me tell you, to be a husband, a priest, there are moments you come and you it's your authority. as a priest that is at work. Like, repeat this after me. We shall live and not die. And she is saying that, and now she started speaking to the baby, and she said, the baby, you shall live and not die. The baby, you shall live and not die. And for some crazy reason, we were able to get to Nairobi Hospital, and she didn't go lucid.
Wow.
And grab her, emergency, grab her, put on a wheelchair, get her to the examination room. And everything is ripped off her. And from there, I begin my most difficult 21 days of my life. That's the last time I heard her speak.